Hello and welcome to the weekly Freelance Bar podcast. I'm Scott.
And I'm Sarah.
Today we're doing a deep dive into some pretty interesting shifts happening right now in the tech world.
Yeah, we've looked at a bunch of recent updates, news articles, trying to pull out what really matters.
Exactly. We've got stuff on browsers, mobile OS changes, developer tools, the whole lot, really. Our mission is basically to cut through the noise for you.
Find those key trends and maybe, the potential turning points.
Okay, so let's kick things off with Mozilla. Firefox. Sounds like they're in, well, a bit of a precarious financial spot.
Yeah. It seems a huge chunk of their money comes from that Google search deal, something like 85%.
Wow, 85%. That's a lot riding on one partnership.
It really is. And with the Justice Department looking into Google's search monopoly, well, that puts Mozilla in a vulnerable position.
Right. I saw their CFO, Eric Mulheim, actually warned about significant cuts. Even said Firefox could be really struggling to stay alive without that money.
Which is worrying. I mean, think about browser competition. If Firefox struggles or, disappears.
It's a downward spiral, potentially.
Right.
Less competition isn't usually good for us users.
Definitely not. Fewer choices, maybe slower innovation. It's a bigger deal than just one browser's finances.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Android 16, there's talk of a proper desktop mode.
Yeah, this popped up in the beta. The idea is you plug your phone into a monitor and bam, you get like a desktop interface.
So taskbar, windowed apps, that kind of thing.
Exactly. A bit like Samsung's DeX, if you've ever used that. Turns your phone into something more like a PC.
Interesting for productivity on the go. But is it actually landing with Android 16 next year?
Well, maybe not for the initial launch in spring 2025. It seems like it's still under development, but it definitely shows where things might be heading, blurring those lines,
Mobile and desktop getting closer. Makes sense. Okay, now, for the developers out there, Apple's working on an AI coding tool.
They're partnering with Anthropic using their Claude Sonnet model, apparently.
And this is for Xcode, to help programmers.
Yep. The goal seems to be assisting with writing code, editing it, even testing, basically an AI assistant right inside the development environment.
Sounds useful. Is this out yet?
Not publicly. It's an internal testing at Apple right now. No word on when or even if it'll roll out to everyone. But it's clearly part of Apple trying to boost its AI game.
Right. Keeping up with the competition and maybe streamlining their own software development too.
Absolutely. Big tech is definitely leaning into AI tools for developers.
Okay, another interesting piece. Payments on iOS. Stripe's made a change.
Yeah, this is pretty significant. Stripe now lets iOS developers take payments outside their apps.
So they can potentially sidestep Apple's commission fees.
Exactly. This follows on from that whole Epic versus Apple court ruling, remember? The one that sort of limited Apple's control over steering users to other payment options.
Right, I remember that. So Stripe is offering a direct way now.
Pretty much. And we're hearing others like Patreon and Spotify are looking at similar things, linking out to their own payment pages.
So this could be a real challenge to Apple's walled garden for in-app purchases.
It definitely looks like a trend. More pushback against platform fees and control. Could mean more flexibility down the line.
Okay, one last thing quickly. Pinterest. Sounds like there's been some chaos with account suspensions.
Yeah, a lot of users suddenly got suspended, apparently with no warning or clear reason. Caused a fair bit of confusion and frustration.
People were pretty upset, understandably. Did Pinterest say anything?
They acknowledged it, put out a statement about, constantly monitoring for content violations. But lots of users felt the response was generic, and getting appeals looked at was slow.
Any idea what caused it?
Well, there's speculation it might be an overzealous AI moderation system, but Pinterest hasn't actually confirmed that. It just highlights how tricky content moderation is at scale and how important clear communication is when things go wrong.
Yeah, automated systems can cause real headaches. Okay, so wrapping up. We've got Firefox facing financial headwinds, Android potentially becoming more desktop-like, AI getting deeper into coding, shifts in iOS payments, and the ongoing messiness of content moderation.
Quite a mix.
Definitely. And when you step back and look at all these pieces together with these big tech platforms having so much influence, it really makes you think, doesn't it? How do these shifts collectively shape our digital future? What choices do we actually have as users, as creators? Something to mull over.
That's all for this week. Remember to follow us on YouTube, blueskyandx.com for hourly news updates. Stay connected.